Welcome to the Managing Pain module for trainers. We designed this as a companion to your trainer's guide to help you visualize the recommended steps for sharing information about managing pain effectively. As a trainer, your goal is that by the end of the session, participants will be able to evaluate common myths about pain, explain differences between acute and chronic pain, describe potential causes of chronic pain, recognize the impact of pain that isn't managed, communicate more effectively with members of the pain management team, name types of medicines used to manage chronic pain, list at least 3 methods to relieve pain without medicine, use a pain tracking form, identify healthy living strategies for managing pain, and prepare an action plan. Here's a quick overview of the flow of a complete managing pain session. The introduction should take around 5 minutes. A discussion about chronic pain should take around 15 minutes. A group activity for communicating the pain experience should take around 15 minutes. A discussion about partnering with a healthcare team should take around 10 minutes, and a second group activity titled Healthy Living Strategies should take around 30 minutes. Allow 10 minutes for discussing the action plan, and closing the session should take around 5 minutes. You may decide to omit this item if you are conducting a 60-minute version of the session. Now that you've seen the big picture, let's talk about the materials you'll want on hand before your participants arrive. Here's a checklist of materials that will help the session go smoothly. Check that you have a flip chart, markers, pencils or pens, name cards, and optionally, refreshments. There are 8 handouts for this session. The handouts are titled Action Plan for Managing Pain, Managing Pain, What You Need to Know, Common Myths About Pain, 10 Tips for Explaining Your Pain, Be Prepared for Your Appointment, My Pain Tracker, Different Methods for Managing Pain, and Sample Tracking Logs. Print out enough copies for all of your participants before the session begins. There are also 5 activity cards. You'll only need 1 copy of each card since you'll be dividing the participants into 5 teams and each team will get 1 card. If you're conducting a 60-minute session, you won't be needing the activity cards. You'll find all originals in the printable materials section of your trainer's guide. Lastly, prepare an attendance sheet so your participants can sign in when they arrive. With your materials in order, you can begin introducing the session. Topic A of the Trainer's Guide covers everything you'll need for getting the session started. As the participants enter the room, greet them warmly to create a welcoming atmosphere. Ask each person to sign the attendance sheet. Write each participant's name on a name card and make sure the card can be seen. After all participants are seated, introduce yourself formally to the group. Ask participants to introduce themselves and provide a simple guideline about what information they should share. For example, you might ask that they state their name, their hometown, and a favorite hobby. After the introductions, explain that the session will last 60 minutes or 90 minutes, depending on the time you've allowed, and tell the participants what they can expect. You can state that there will be group discussions about managing pain, a variety of activities for learning about managing pain in a fun way, and opportunities to think about and share ideas about managing pain. Make a special point to encourage participants to ask questions at any time during the session. Remember to mention where the restrooms and water fountains are, especially if there are participants who are unfamiliar with the location. Before you begin the actual content of the session, ask the participants for suggestions about setting some ground rules for the next hour or 90 minutes, and write their suggestions on the flip chart. Keep the rules visible someplace in the room throughout the session. Your group is likely to come up with their own ideas, but typically it's good to include turning off cell phones, keeping all discussions during the session confidential, feeling free to ask questions, and avoiding sidebars by directing all questions to you or to the entire group so that everyone can hear the discussion. The purpose of the first group discussion of the session is to help the participants identify which common beliefs about pain are not true, introduce participants to the differences between acute and chronic pain, and discuss the impact chronic pain can have on a person's life. You'll need your markers, the flip chart, and copies of the Common Myths About Pain handout. You'll find the recommended process for guiding this discussion in the Trainer's Guide. You can begin by explaining that it's common for people to read or hear information about pain that isn't necessarily true. Explain that you're going to read 5 common beliefs. For each one, you will ask them if they believe the information is true or not. If it's not true, it is a myth. Using your copy of the Common Myths About Pain handout, read the first statement and then ask the participants whether it is true or a myth. After the participants state their opinions, make sure you supplement their comments with the information in the fact section as shown here. When you share information with the participants, avoid reading the key points word for word. Instead, speak naturally and maintain eye contact. The first myth is that the doctors and nurses who care for you are the experts about how much pain you feel. The fact is that the person who feels the pain is the expert. Continue the same process with the 4 remaining myths and facts. Myth 2 is that there is no reason for you to feel pain when no physical cause has been diagnosed. The fact is that since the study of pain is relatively new, many of the causes of pain people feel are still unknown. Myth 3 is that pain builds character, and the best way to deal with it is to be strong. The fact is that unmanaged pain can have a very negative impact on quality of life, and it's important to seek medical attention for new and ongoing pain. Myth 4 is that you will get addicted if you take pain medicines. The fact is that while becoming addicted to pain medicine is a common fear, you can reduce the risks by discussing your concerns with your healthcare team and taking medicines as prescribed. And myth 5 is that pain medicine will eventually stop working and the doctor will keep increasing the dose. The fact is that when pain is managed well, the dose can often stay the same or even be lowered. After you finish discussing the final myth, explain that the rest of this discussion will be about the differences between acute and chronic pain. You can ask, can anyone explain how acute pain is different from chronic pain? You can use the key points in the Trainer's Guide to supplement the discussion. The key points use a fire alarm metaphor to illustrate that acute pain is like a well-functioning fire alarm, signaling danger and alerting you to a real fire, while chronic pain is like a broken fire alarm that rings continuously and loudly, falsely signaling danger when there is no threat of a fire. Acute pain lasts less than 3 months, while chronic pain lasts 3 to 6 months or longer. Ask the participants for their ideas about how chronic pain might be affecting their lives. Write their ideas on the flip chart. You can use the key points about the impact of chronic pain to guide the discussion. The key points about the impact of chronic pain are that unmanaged chronic pain can have a profound impact. It can affect all aspects of your life. That when chronic pain is managed using multiple strategies, the pain does not dominate your life, and that you can regain control and see hope for the future despite ongoing pain. Conclude this topic by giving each participant a copy of the Common Myths About Pain handout and thanking everyone for participating in the discussion. The first group activity is item C in the Trainer's Guide, and its purpose is to introduce the participants to ideas they can use for productive conversations with their pain management team. You'll need pencils or pens, your markers, the flip chart, and copies of the 10 tips for explaining your pain, Be Prepared for Your Appointment, and My Pain Tracker handouts for each participant. Explain that this activity is meant to help them practice talking about their pain so it'll be more comfortable when they're talking with their doctor or pain management team. Ask the group to form 2-person teams. If there's an odd number of participants, one team may have 3 people. On the flip chart, write location, description, intensity, what makes it worse, better, and impact on your quality of life. Explain that each partner will take 1 minute to tell the other about each of these items relative to their pain. Let them know when 1 minute has passed and ask them to change roles so the other partner has a turn to speak. When the time is up, ask the group to share their experiences. You can use the key points in the trainer's guide to start off the discussion. For example, you can ask, was it difficult to talk about your pain experience in such a short amount of time? Or, did you feel like you were able to give enough information? Or, would it have been easier if you knew ahead of time you would be asked to do this? After the discussion, distribute the 10 Tips for Explaining Your Pain handout. Ask for volunteers to read each of the tips aloud and ask if there are any questions. Next, distribute the Be Prepared for Your Appointment handout and explain that it has 2 parts. The questions on the left are samples of those they might want to ask at their medical appointment, and the questions on the right are questions they might want to be prepared to answer during their appointment. The final part of this topic involves the My Pain Tracker handout. Distribute a copy to each participant. Explain that this form can help them keep track of how their pain medicines and other ways to relieve pain are working. You'll find suggestions for explaining how to complete each section of the form in the trainer's guide in the full page area under Key Points for Activity C. Ask the participants to write an X on the pictures in the form to mark any areas where they feel pain and see if they have any questions about completing the form. Conclude the activity by thanking everyone for their participation. The purpose of the next discussion is to prepare participants with information and tools to help them partner with their pain management team. You'll need your markers, the flip chart, and copies of the Different Methods for Managing Pain and Sample Tracking Logs handouts for each participant. Begin the discussion by explaining that you'll read the group a series of statements. After each one, you'd like them to share their ideas about whether they should expect this from their pain management team or whether they have had any problems or advice about acting on these rights. Each statement is shown in your trainer's guide. After the discussion, explain that you will now read several short statements about what the members of their pain management team can expect. These statements are also provided in your trainer's guide. Again, ask the participants to express how they feel about these rights and to discuss their experiences. To conclude this part of the discussion, ask if there are any questions. Distribute the Different Methods for Managing Pain handout and explain that it provides a brief overview of 2 methods for managing pain, one with and one without using medicine. Reassure the participants that there is no need to memorize the contents of this sheet, but that it can help them understand recommendations they may hear about from the healthcare professionals they consult. Ask if anyone has something to add to the items described on the handout. Perhaps someone would like to share how one of the treatments has helped them in the past. Distribute the other handout for discussion D, which is titled Sample Tracking Logs. Explain that the sample logs are examples of the kinds of records that they can easily create for themselves. Ask for their ideas about how keeping logs like these up to date can help them manage their pain. Conclude this discussion by reminding the participants that pain is real and that they should know their rights as patients. Thank them for their participation. Unless you're running a 60-minute session, in which case you'll go directly to topic F, the next activity is item E in the trainer's guide, and it's titled Healthy Living Strategies. The purpose is to help participants brainstorm about the ways to overcome barriers to lifestyle adjustments that can improve their pain experiences. You'll need 1 copy of each of the 5 activity cards for this topic. Start by explaining that during this activity, they'll learn about 5 lifestyle areas that are important for improving how they experience pain. You'll use your own words, but you can refer to the sample instructions box in the trainer's guide. For example, you can say, now to start talking about lifestyle changes that can help manage pain, we're going to conduct an activity. It's going to be fun and easy, so please relax while I explain what we'll be doing. After you've introduced the activity, divide the group into 5 teams. Give each team an activity card. Ask them to read through the information on their card and then come up with answers to the 2 questions. Give participants 10 minutes to read and discuss the information on the cards. Make sure to ask them to let you know if anyone has a problem reading the material. For example, someone may have forgotten to bring reading glasses. While the teams are working, walk around and see if anyone needs assistance. Give the teams a 2-minute notice when the time is almost up. Ask participants to select one member of each team to report back to the group. This person should explain the information on their card and share their team's answers to the questions. After all the teams finish reporting to the group, your role is to clarify or provide additional information. See the key points in the trainer's guide for information that should be covered before the activity is over. The key points for physical activity strategies include that exercise is considered an essential part of managing chronic pain. Most people will avoid exercise because it creates more pain at first. Most people with chronic pain can benefit significantly from regular exercise. Pain can worsen if you're out of shape and can increase your risk for injury. Share with participants that before they start an exercise program, it's important that they discuss the best exercises for their specific pain condition with their doctor. The key points for nutrition strategies include that if you're living with chronic pain, you want to do everything you can to help your body. One way to keep your body strong is to eat a well-balanced diet. Making food choices for a healthy lifestyle can be simple. Many people have an unhealthy and unbalanced diet, high in sugars and fats, and this can cause or worsen existing health problems. The key points for stress reduction strategies include that living with chronic pain can be stressful and life-altering. Increased stress can result in a perceived increase in the level of pain. Our emotions and thoughts can play a significant role in how we cope. Coping strategies can give you a sense of being able to manage your pain. Regaining control of your life can help lower your stress, reduce your anxiety and depression, and put you back in charge of your life. Share with the participants that although people can help you learn strategies to cope better, no one can do it for you. It's up to you to take the first step and keep moving forward. The key points for sleep strategies include that difficulty sleeping and excessive daytime sleepiness are common problems. When pain interferes with adequate sleep, chronic pain worsens. Unrelenting pain is exhausting, and sleep deprivation can have significant negative effects on your emotions, physical health, and ability to think clearly. Poor sleep can lead to difficulty coping, depression, anxiety, irritability, and daytime fatigue, which increases pain. A critical goal is simply getting a good night's sleep. Deep sleep is necessary for a person's cognitive, physical, and emotional well-being. The key points for social support strategies include that living with chronic pain is a personal experience that only you fully understand. You may feel like no one really understands or believes you. Chronic pain affects not only you, but everyone who cares about you. Your family and friends may feel angry, anxious, and sad that they can't control your pain, which can lead to more social isolation. Tell friends and family what you're feeling and how they can help you. Reaching out to others is one of the most important strategies to help you cope. Sharing your struggles can help you learn what strategies are most effective from each. Conclude the activity by thanking everyone for their participation. This topic addresses the importance of having an action plan. Distribute an action plan to each participant, then ask each person to review the items on the plan and select one or more items that they'll try to change or improve. The choices on the action plan include take an active role, see the whole picture, set realistic goals, get moving, let go of unhealthy habits, and improve your support system. The key points about the action plan in the Trainer's Guide recommend that you emphasize the importance of an action plan and how it relates to improving and maintaining a healthy life. Share with participants that lifestyle changes are made one step at a time. Therefore, they should be ready, willing, and able to make changes that will improve their chances for a better and healthier life. Explain that there are 4 questions you'd like them to ask themselves based on what they selected on their action plan. They are, what behavior would I like to change? Is it a behavior that I can do? What must I do to achieve this change? And when will I make this change? Ask participants to select their confidence level for the behavior they've chosen to change. Ask them to select a number on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, indicating how confident they feel about completing their action plan. If a participant's confidence level is less than 7, ask him or her to consider an easier plan. Conclude the session by distributing and explaining the Managing Pain, What You Need to Know handout. Invite the group to ask questions about the handout. Remember to thank the participants for their attendance and participation. Finally, invite them to return to the next session and encourage them to bring a family member or friend. Thank you for your contribution in sharing this important information, and thank you for participating in this training.